Our final game of the night is going to tick all the right boxes for you, as it's Toxic taking on k1llsen, Harry, our two-time Quake Pro League champion, going up against the speed demon of the old guard of Quake in Tox.
I'm a little bit worried for Tox here. Now, I think it suits k1llsen's playstyle. You know, he's a high fragger. It's his ability to even corner people and just take them down with absolutely no hesitation. The man is just ridiculous. And I think one of the main things about k1llsen is the fact that he likes to destroy the movement timing. So a lot of the predicted stuff most players would normally do, he won't do it. He'll do the complete opposite and more. But Tox does have some kind of advantages here and there where if k1llsen kind of, forces himself to mess up any of his movement timings, Tox can capitalize and try and take him down. But again, what kind of Tox are we going to see today? We have seen a very consistent version of him over the last month or two. And we kept saying before, like in the past, we were like, what kind of Tox have we seen today? We could see an on-for one, off-for one. It was the same conversation about Tox every single time without fail. But so far this time he's been all right. He's only played 1 week. He's only played against CNZ. And even then, that was very close. I think that was a 2-1, I believe. Even then, though, it's going to be a tall order for Tox here. But if he manages to take down k1llsen, then that's definitely a huge upset. But even then, I feel like Tox is, you're saying he was a speed demon. I feel like that's something what k1llsen likes to play against. He likes to play other people who are super aggressive and make quick, decisive decisions, just going by game sense and your initiative rather than strategically looking at the approach on how to actually end each map.
Oh, no, absolutely. There's a lot of parallels between both of them, right? They're similar in a lot of ways. It's just the fact that k1llsen right now, I think, has kind of been on that constant upwards draft where when we spoke to him, obviously, after he, was able to win for the second time, get his name inscribed into the belt once again, he said that even he feels like he's not at QuakeCon form yet, but he's getting there. And he's slowly improving every week, right? Which is huge because then you take into account this is kind of one of the most on-form k1llsen we've seen in some time, probably since the past QuakeCon win. It's really cool to see the way he's approaching the game again and the level of passion that's coming out strongly as well. I mean, if anyone didn't see the moments when he actually won last finals, he had to get his girlfriend to essentially pinch him and be like, no, this is real, and explain to him that he had won the series because he just didn't even realize that they had, he had won enough maps to take the championship, which is pretty dope. So it's going to be cool to see more k1llsen. Let's have a look at the picks and bans then, see how the veto has shaped up this series and the way it will be played out. And if we're going to get that need for speed quenched. So Blood Covenant to kick us off. We have Slash coming out for Tox. That's good. That's a fan favorite box being ticked. For k1llsen, it's Athena that's in play. She'll be swinging into action straight away. Pretty good picks on Blood Covenant. Couldn't really question that one myself. Feel like that'll be nice. Blood Run, though, Harry. Doom versus Ranger for our second series.
I think most of these maps are quite standard. With Blood Covenant, Tox loves using Slash, Anarchy, those kind of champions. So seeing Slash come out first, understandable. Athena, I mentioned it earlier in the previous series, very meta. Normally, in almost every series, you'll see Athena being played. Of course, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it depends on how you actually play. If you're not very good with her, then maybe they'll switch to another champion, such as like Visor, etc. Blood Run, Doom, and Ranger, again, it's meta, it's default, it's pretty standard. The last one, though, Awoken, of course, there's no Doom because it's already been played on Blood Run, but seeing the Sorlag versus the Galena, so that should be an interesting one as well to see what Tox can do with the Sorlag. But any fast-moving champion, anyone that gets slides, Tox is one of the kings of Quake 4 back in the day. But you're talking about k1llsen as well, and, you're saying, like, how his partner had to pinch him. And I'm glad that, he gets that much support because he's been around in the Quake scene, I think, for the last, I want to say, 16 years now. He's been around for a very long time, still has the same amount of passion, and that's what gives him the drive to exactly do what he does best, really, because you've got to keep up that momentum. And then it's very, very difficult to do it for such a long period of time. People normally break around the 10-year mark, but for him, the fact that he's still doing it after 16 years, like just a few others, it's madness, but it's nice to see he's keeping up that high caliber skill in the process.
No, it's awesome. It's cool. Again, like I really enjoy any of the interviews I get to do with k1llsen because he is just a super nice guy. Like he's super down to earth. chill guy all in all. I remember like even with that finals where we did in Katowice, he was running past when he was going to play like one of the quarterfinal games, and he was just like, Jackie, can you shout out Poopy on stream? She's my girlfriend. And I was just like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. It's chill. He's just a super genuine dude. So it's cool to see him actually excelling, obviously, again now as well. Because obviously coming into the whole thing, he was the first name on the belt. He's now got his name on there twice, and there's still one more opportunity for that to happen. He's looking like the contender from Europe to do it. What an amazing feat it would be if he could be the free time. But that's all speculation at this point. Let's reel it back into the position we're currently in. The final game of the day here, the final series, I should say, as we do have a full free mapper ahead of us between Tox and k1llsen. I think really for me in this one, Harry, all eyes are going to be on Tox to see just what kind of fight he can put up, what level of confidence is he coming in at. In terms of the champions, they are all heavily speed-based. Obviously, you've got the momentum there of Doom as well with the double jump. So I feel like they have at least fit kind of the glove that he likes to wear. For k1llsen, I'm just a little bit worried in the sense that when this man's on and he comes out looking like the cheetah, looking like Railson, he just doesn't miss a shot. You know what I mean? It's so hard to find a word in edgeways against him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, really. You know, the first game is going to be high-octane massacre. You know, the pace and the speed of these two players and the mind games, which is going to follow through as well. I think everyone here, all of us, is going to be in for a real treat to see exactly who's going to take that first game. You know, Athena versus Slash, I love it when Tox is using Slash. You know, I've seen him use it on Blood Run and even on coming up now, going into Blood Covenant. It's just a real enjoyable to watch. You know, even if he does well or does bad, like either way, everything he does and the decisions he makes is so decisive. And I think both of these players, it's going to be interesting to see how they try and counterattack once one of them has actually the full map control. But we're going to have to see. It depends on the item timings and everything else. But, you know, Tox has still got a bit of a point to prove. He's had a good start to the season. Like he's already beat CNZ in the first week. But now what can he do here? Like, if he managed to beat Tox in any way, if Tox can actually beat k1llsen, then that's a huge statement, but it's going to be quite unlikely. It's still going to be a tall order, but we'll have to see. But I haven't given up my hopes up for Tox.
No, I don't think any of us should as well. We shouldn't really be disheartened. I mean, like, still in terms of his current form with the way he's been playing, especially even at the last finals, right? It was like, what, the 16-minute OT game with a one frag against Wenger that was like deep into the tournament, running the lower bracket to decide who even moved on from that point. We've had some crazy games for him still. It does feel like we haven't had to question his form as much. It's been a lot more of just assumption that he is going to play up to the level he normally does. We are getting this final game of the night prepared for anyone watching at home as well. Shouldn't be too long till we are actually able to get underway. We're just resolving some issues, and then we'll be ready to allow our two duelists to duke it out, Harry.
We definitely are indeed. It's just his first game. It's just going to be absolute chaos. If you like a chaotic, messy game, but strategized to a degree which we just can't understand, you're going to absolutely love this one. It just depends on Tox overall. Like, you know, he's using the Slash. He has the movement ability to try and avoid a lot of scenarios which he doesn't really place himself in normally. But at least you've got k1llsen with the grappling hook to try and do his best to catch up, but he has to have a really good Athena to try and catch up with Tox's Slash. We'll have to see. But the second game, though, you know, when we have Blood Run later on, you know, the range of picks normal. Tox is very good at Blood Run too. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. And Awoken later on. It should be a real treat. Every single map, I wouldn't say go all the way, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that there's not going to be any slow-paced games. This is probably going to be the highest fragging game of the night, of the whole series. If not, then I'll be gobsmacked.
Yeah, this series is kind of like a dirt rally. It's going to be off-road. It's going to be very messy. There'll be lots of mud, but it's going to be fast, and it is going to be very enjoyable as a spectator sport. But obviously, you know, don't stand too close because you will get covered in mud.
Well, you're not wrong to say the least, but what can Tox do here? Like I said, he's been playing okay so far. I wouldn't say he's been playing out of his mind, but there's a time to do it. Now would be the time. It's just, you know what k1llsen's like. As soon as he smells or even gets a whiff of anything in terms of like weakness in the air, he will just capitalize every single time without fail. And it's really difficult to try and stabilize and keep control of, because you can't control the man sometimes. The only person I have seen control that is Base, but even then that's a rare occurrence.
Well done. Here we are. Let's get it as we get into our final series of the day here. k1llsen taking on Tox. First map, Athena versus Slash. I'm opening up here on k1llsen's POV on my side, as he is on the Athena. Currently sticking to the low ground, running around back towards Mega Room. Picks himself up an LG as well. And he will just lurk. Currently playing for the audio cues, listening out where exactly Tox is at this point. Ooh, Tox getting the contact from the elevated angle by Mega. Tags him, so k1llsen scarpers. Straight back over by Banana, grabbing himself the light armor. And launching up. Perfect timing to grab the Mega as well, just as it spawns in and can grapple it out cleanly.
So far, so good for k1llsen. He's got a huge stack here. Took a rail there, but looks like Tox is looking for one more. Won't be given that opportunity as k1llsen with a beautiful rail there. Bottom mid to try and put him off guard, but again, the speed and the agility of Slash proved just slightly too much on that one corner, but the LG comes out for k1llsen. He's going to try and catch him up if he can. He's trying to get as fast as possible. Tox now in a bad spot. He's going to come in hot, and he actually does. k1llsen with a lovely frag there and managed to pick up heavy to boot.
Yeah, that was big. Really nicely played. Basically used his momentum to slam the rocket into Tox to get the clean kill. Big way to open up the game. And just a cool fraggle and all as well. Very brutal. Quite visceral. As he takes the peek across the bridge, he sees Tox roaming out of there. So he's basically just guarding this area of the map where you've got two very wide open angles. You can focus in towards the Mega Rotate, and you have clear view of the heavy spawn. You've also got the lockdown of the rail, which is such a huge set piece of a weapon. If you're denying Tox from getting a rail, you're really restricting his game, right? Like, Tox is so akin to k1llsen in the sense that he needs a railgun, and he needs to be able to hit you over and over again with it. That's one of the elements of Quake he excels in, and stopping him from being able to even get the weapon is a good approach to take to the game.
Both of these players not really putting themselves in a bad situation, and as I say that, Tox managed to so a huge amount of damage from that rocket, but k1llsen is just trying to finish him off, which he does. Two beautiful rails there for himself. And now he's going to try and get that Mega. k1llsen's playing a lot more patient, but you have to on Blood Couple. It's, you know, it's definitely not uncommon. You see this quite a lot, and a beautiful shot there again from k1llsen, increasing his lead. Tox struggling to find his footing. He was okay earlier, but trying to do his best to contest this heavy, but I don't think he'll be able to here. It's going to be a little bit too much, but the shotgun shot's been missed. Not too much damage on the second one, but managed to stabilize a little bit with his cursor placement and made sure to finish things off there. So k1llsen, not too bad so far. A little bit of a struggle towards the end of that the full frag, but is now going to try and delay Tox from that rail. Some good shots there, and another filthy rail from k1llsen.
Downright dirty. It needs a soap-based wash. That's how disgusting it is right now. The response from Tox is even better. Good play with the rockets, taking him down, tucking him into bed. Coming up towards the 4-minute mark here. Tox utilizing the speed now finally. He's also got a railgun as well, so he'll be happy with the fact that he has a few more weapons and potential tools of the trade in his arsenal. He's chasing aggressively and trying to get the drop onto k1llsen, but he's taking far too much damage. He's being chipped away every time he peeks in. Has he realized that Heavy's up? He has now. Falls back after dirtying the time in by about 3 seconds there. He picks it up and now darts his way back across towards Mega. 5 seconds till it spawns in. He gets into the encounter with k1llsen. Good rail work so far. And he has won the item.
Tox now. Huge stack to work with. k1llsen's just trying to find his footing, but will Tox be able to find him? He has the info he needs. He's going to try and bounce him and try and finish him off. He's going to be very aggressive here to try and clean up. A few missed rockets there. Got the second one. The LG comes through. Will he be able to finish off k1llsen? Surely he will. And yes, he does. Managed to get the second frag on the board. Decides to try and push in again, but k1llsen did get that Mega. He gets away with his life for the time being.
Hearing the bounce pad go off. And trying to dip out of there. Staying to the rivers and roads that he's used to as he keeps on moving, sliding past these poles. Drops the plasma trail, so there's no opportunity for an attack to come in from k1llsen on the low ground. He can't chase him, but he doesn't need to if he can rail him from a distance, and that's just what he does. Shot after shot. His railgun is on point, as always. The cheetah springs into action here. And he's looking for more. Diving through with the grapple hook. Big connection. With an even better slam dunk to finish it. k1llsen clean. A stone cold killer at the minute. 7-2.
k1llsen now. The last few times just been an absolute nuisance for Tox. Just closing out exactly where he goes. The spawn peak comes in and gets that first rail just to make matters worse. But Tox is trying to contest the Mega a little bit here. Not really going to do too much as the heavy is up. But look how much he's delayed it by at least 5 seconds. But it doesn't matter now. Tox knows it's up. But the whole point of that delay was to make sure that k1llsen has enough time to go back and forth for both items and not giving k1llsen much of a chance. And Tox with a nice few rails there. And now he can continue on to try and get the item control for himself. But you have to remember, it's 3 minutes 15 left. He's got a 5 frag deficit to try and come back from. It can be difficult, but not impossible.
Anything's possible if you set your mind to it, Harry.
You're not wrong there, mate.
You just gotta keep on keeping on. Toxic right now, though. Can't hold on. Can't stay alive. At least it will be a little bit cheaper for him to buy clothes. He doesn't have a body. He is dead. k1llsen off the back of this. Completely fired up and amped up, looking for the carnage. Will go straight in with the rockets as well. Big transition. And his celebration is to just take his hands off the keyboard and mouse there, it seems, and chill out a little bit. Yeah,
I think he knows it's done now. Maybe we jinxed Tox a little bit earlier when it was 8-3. But nevertheless, we'll see what you can do. Pretty sure that there's not really a waiting for Tox at this point in time. The items are all in k1llsen's favour. He should be able to get the Mega here. Still got a little bit of time left. But Tox's rails have been very good, but k1llsen's is just that little bit better. As now he's increased it to 11. Missed out on the opportunity to get a spawn rail on him. But still has 2 minutes left. But the rails from Tox have been phenomenal, but some were required at the right time. We only just slightly missed them, but so far k1llsen's going to try and get a heavy, which he does. One more should do it, but it doesn't matter as k1llsen's now increased his lead 12-3.
Yeah, it's crazy how much bigger it is at this point. Just a ridiculous lead he's been able to build out of nothing, essentially. Almost 10 frags ahead against Tox, and there really isn't much time left as well. Tox can't get back into it here on the first map. It's just a true display of what k1llsen does best. He frags like a lunatic. He's fast. The flicks are so well calculated as well. That wasn't great, but we'll let him have that one as a one-off.
Minute and 10 left. Tox now full item control and the map control. A little bit too late, but whatever floats his boat for the time being, as now he's trying to hunt down k1llsen, but there definitely just isn't enough time with the respawn time, and even trying to find him afterwards if you don't catch him on spawn, it's just way too little too late. But nevertheless though, k1llsen had a very strong start. Tox did look like he made a few comebacks here and there, but k1llsen was just too much. We said it earlier that this series is going to be a high fragging one on each and every single map. It's a style that k1llsen likes. He's not a fan of some of the other defensive players like Base, who really makes it a huge struggle. And it kind of forces k1llsen not to play the way he'd like to. But a player like Tox does make him want to play in the style which he so dearly loves. But that's said and done. 5 seconds left. k1llsen will take the first map in the series 12-4. And we're going to have to see now what Tox can do to retaliate in this series.
Yeah, it's just literally avoiding there towards the end, just running away. k1llsen, all he did was play the kiting game, and that's all he needed to do, it seems, to be able to win that one overall. Harry does walk away as the victor on the first map. Stark contrast of the scoreline, 12-4, so big fragging powerhouse plays coming out from k1llsen. He was willing to go into any fight quite confidently. Some of the shots he was hitting were absolutely sickening. And then the last few seconds of the game just wasted time and let it run over the clock until it was all said and done there on the first map. Is only the first map, though. We still have 2 more coming up. Scary factor is, though, can Tox do anything else? Is there any momentum really left in there for him? As it seemed really just so one-sided.
It really did. There was a lot of mistakes on the way. You saw from there that I think Tox expected k1llsen to play a lot more aggressive than he actually did in the first half of that game. k1llsen decided to wait for the mistakes. He decided to sit back on rail and to wait around on light armor, just to maybe switch back the grappling hook on top rockets, just to see exactly what Tox was up to and see if he can feel him out. Because, you know, you do get some slash players where they're a little bit too high strong with the agility and the pace and the speed and gets a little bit too out of hand, and then they get caught off guard. You see it quite a lot. You didn't see it too much this game, but you saw there that k1llsen, every time he saw an opening, he made the right decision to try and capitalize, and he did every single time. But k1llsen needs to remember, though, Tox's rails have been very good, even though he lost that game by quite a large margin. But I feel like Tox can make something of this. But, you know, if k1llsen won 3-0 or 2-1, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But Tox does have the caliber skill to at least try and take one map, but to try, maybe even equalize in this second game.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say count him out. He's definitely still good enough to be able to get himself back into the game. But the issue is, I feel like it's such an uphill battle, especially after what we saw there on the first map, right? You then go into Blood Run as the second. I think it's Doom this time around for Tox, obviously, versus a Ranger. It's just so hard for you to really get too much done on a map like this against k1llsen. He can be a terror, an absolute mischief-making man on Blood Run. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just ruled this one with an iron fist, Harry, and it was very cleanly cut. I feel like that's the way it could go.
He's trying to end the night in fashion, isn't he, Jack? Not too much of a surprise there. At least with Tox, with Doom, with the double jump, he saved himself the rocket damage, even though it's a small amount anyway, to grab the heavy or switch around to shotgun, so he can keep going back and forth to keep him at bay with the agility of Doom. But then again, k1llsen has the orb to do a huge amount of damage and at the same time go for the rotation of items if they're quite close to each other in terms of timing. But we'll be going to the second map to see if Tox can actually do anything here. He definitely has the potential and the caliber. It's just a matter of how k1llsen will play and how he can efficiently get something done here.
Into the action then. The penultimate map here. Catch. Tox push down. k1llsen would try and ground pound on top of him essentially there. Damage transfer going wildly in favor of the German. It's right now, Tox is left quite low. 57 HP after he grabs a bubble to at least replenish himself somewhat, as he was in a dangerous position. And he is just kiting around, running once again, making navigating the map look quite trivial with his double jump at least, something that needs to be a massive benefactor into his gameplay throughout the course of this map. k1llsen dives in once again, and look at the paranoia. Tox, terrified about what was going on there. The spam coming out, Harry. He was spooked.
He was having absolutely none of that now. So k1llsen is trying to see what he can do in order to counteract Tox. But Tox does have the audio advantage. But saying that, k1llsen was walking. He knew that he's most probably going to be walking towards that direction from the last footstep from Tox. But k1llsen is on his default stack. He's looking good, looking healthy. Unlike what we're seeing from Tox, but he's just waiting for the next light armor to spawn. So he may have to give up the next set of items. Perfectly understandable. But he may get himself trapped here. He so desperately wants that light armor, and I feel like k1llsen does know he wants to pick it up because he hasn't seen him in a while. This could be the last rail for him. Yes, it will be. As k1llsen gets that first frag on the board.
Good kill to achieve. Keeping it slow as well. k1llsen playing for sound. Look at that! Just off the audio cue. He hits all 3 of the shots from the tri-bolt. I don't know how he's so good with the tri-bolt. He always has been. It's been such a staple weapon for k1llsen. On this map especially, Harry, some of the shots he hits are disgustingly good.
You're not wrong there. 70 damage just from that one rail. The orb comes in. Tox managed to get more damage than he probably expected. The tri-bolt comes in, another 36 damage, but it doesn't matter as Tox retaliates with a lovely rail there to equalise things. Just to see what k1llsen could do now. He's going to try and get away for the time being. Just build up all the weapons in his arsenal. And doesn't see anything top mid yet. So let's see what happens here. But at least Tox will get a heavy. k1llsen tries to contest it in any way, but not really too much damage done with the LG. As Tox is just keeping that top mid control. May drop down at some point if he does enough. But I think after that rail from k1llsen, it's going to stay for the time being.
So Tox darting out. Doing a bit of his best k1llsen impression as he fires back the tri-bolt himself, but the issue is, in close range combat, the LG is favoured, and k1llsen was quicker off the draw to switch over and leave Tox breathing no more. Straight back into the carnage once again. He's taking a real brunt of the damage. It's knocked him down to just 41 HP, so he has to scavenge the small health bubbles to build himself back up. He takes a rail to the face, although he might actually reface this and try and take down Tox. They both had the same idea, executed at the same time. The only difference is Tox, he got the mega health. Oh, and he goes back down, paying his price as k1llsen comes bounding back into action. The aggression is on display. Coming at you.
These Blood Run games all evening have been slightly off-key, shall we say. k1llsen now manages to get that mega for his troubles. Wasn't contested too hard for it. Tox knew he wasn't in a position to contest that considering his circumstances. But now, Tox does have the high ground. He does have top mid. He's going to see if he can find k1llsen once again, but he does know he's there. Listening out for him. He is still bomb middle, but Tox isn't going to take that risk. He's waiting to see. The orb comes in, gets to heavy, but does a lot of damage to Tox. But then again, the rail comes out from Tox. Tries to finish him up, but might get caught off guard here. He needs to be careful. But k1llsen is just waiting back for now. I think he still knows he's there. He would have heard the teleporter, but decided to back away for the time being.
Halfway through the map now. And a one frag difference is all that has been achieved. Oh, k1llsen! You wild man. He's busted out the musket and he is punishing with his shots from it this railgun, tearing Tox to pieces. And k1llsen is ready for the upshot as well. He actually sends himself in. Dire Orb comes out. Oh my god. He is the ammunition in that encounter. And he does a nice amount of damage against Tox as well. Both of them now in an equal stance when it comes to the overall HP. Our two Space Marines left within an inch of each other, expecting the fight to come around the corner soon. As we see the rocket spam going out from k1llsen. Tox dives in with the LG to get the early contact. k1llsen buffing it out with the mega health, holding the angle with the rail, but he doesn't fire on the fadeaway. Instead just retreats, going for the major items and playing for the bigger picture of survival.
The discipline of both of these players. They were so tempted to just get that one rail off. But they both well and truly know that having a 2-frag advantage on a map like Blood Run, you're pretty much knocking on death's door, especially at this high tier caliber. But for now, no. k1llsen still has the stack advantage, and Tox taking his time for the time being. He's just trying to scope things out and see exactly what's going on. He does have a slightly better stack than he once did thanks to the heavy. But at some point, he's going to be able to get away. But you've got to remember with k1llsen, with that orb, he can teleport himself in numerous places around Blood Run to try and get away if necessary. So he's at a huge advantage in terms of the potential of playing defensive. But it doesn't mean it's going to stop him from that item control. So he's going to sit back in that nail room. And he will continue to do so for the rest of his game. He's in a great spot. He's got no reason, no incentive to play overly aggressive for no reason. And how he's playing this out so far is textbook Quake for the time being.
Timing running down to a bare minimum now, though. really a lot left. But luckily the game's so close in the overall frag count that it doesn't really matter. It means that potentially we're going to have a big bust up towards the end of the game to decide who gets this map. And I thought maybe that was the beginnings of it, an inkling into what was going to come, but it slows down once again and returns to the normal pace that we've seen. A slower, more stable game. No one's really wanted to throw away any opportunities into this. They haven't been taking risks. They've been playing very standard, slow Quake. k1llsen really trying to find a competitive edge before he commits into any of these plays, if he has to. He currently has the lead as well, so he is willing to just waste the clock whilst he's got the edge. Goes up for the dire orb, drops himself back down for the escape play as well. Smoothly executed and pulled off quite nicely as he'll get out of there and again be able to rebuild. Sticking to the same route, Harry.
He's going to be sticking to the same route most of the time. I've a feeling that k1llsen may switch up and go for the tele-defensive play afterwards because he has been hanging around that nail gun room. But it doesn't matter if you make the same play again and again and again. It's so ridiculously good because of hearing the audio cues from all three entrances to that room. And Tox realises that time is starting to run out here. The heavy does go to k1llsen. He does have a slightly better stack, faking that he's not bottom mid anymore. But eventually now he's going to realise that he's going to push there. But the rockets come in and gets enough damage and info. The LGs both come out. It all comes in. It might be the wrong play as Tox ties things up. He was very, very patient and just shows that at least in the end, he manages to equalise things. 3-3 now here, Jack.
He's dropped an EO. I don't know if that's like an emoji. Or an emoticon, perhaps. Who knows? Game's tied, though. 3-3. 9 minutes and 20 on the clock. We don't really have a lot of time left on this one, so this is where things are going to get quite hectic, you would imagine, in the later stages of it. It could very well go to sudden death. If they want to play it smart, they can just wait, try and build up a big stack as possible, and then duke it out into the sudden death. So 20 seconds left for that to come to fruition. Who will get the final heavy of regulation? Perhaps no one at all. As Tox, he went for the play, he's baited k1llsen in, and he's slain him. I think he's done it. That should be a 4-3 split on this map. He's going to walk away. They're going to split the maps 1-1 apiece.
Completely unexpected considering Tox was on the back foot throughout the entire game. And I said earlier, if you've got a 2-frag advantage and you're playing like that, it's so difficult. You know, even if you rocket jump or you've got Doom's agility with a double jump to go back and forth from top mid to shotgun to push the nail room, it's so hard for any player to even keep up with that much momentum to corner them off. It's so difficult. But you saw there, Tox managed to at least take him down at the mega late on and then managed to close out the final frag. It was just ridiculous. I was a little bit worried for Tox at one stage, but if there was only one frag difference, I knew that there was probably some kind of will or way for Tox to make that comeback. But he was very patient. He played it slow like he should do, and he was just trying to corner him off, which he did. But it just felt like that k1llsen was the one who made the few mistakes. He shouldn't really have pushed up on that mega spawn. He was just trying to show his muscles, really, for the item control.
Yeah. Just surprising that that's the way it went down, I guess, in the end there. Again, just a good display of the fact that you never really counted out of a game. When you are playing a game like Quake, you can buy yourself back into it at any time. You just need to really wait for the opportune moment, and that's what we saw. Interesting spike in the storyline then as we get into the third and final map, as this is the last map of the series and of the night, and it's going to be Awoken. We have Sorlag coming out versus k1llsen. Those are the last two champions that are going to be in circulation, Harry. What do you reckon about the last game of the night? Who's taking it?
You can stop giving me these hard questions.
I know, I just love throwing them at you.
It could go either way. I would assume that k1llsen would be the one to take it just from past experience and from where he played that first game. Blood Run is just one of those maps where you have to play the cat and mouse game every single time. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's so difficult to try and equalize the matchup in any way, shape or form. It's so difficult. But with Awoken, it's a bit easier to corner off your opponent, to try and then have that top mid control and just chill until you know that there's a right opportunity to try and take the fight when necessary or whatever bout there is, and then be able to finish things off. I'd assume k1llsen should have this one, but if Tox manages to play out of his mind and take it, then fair play to him. It will definitely be an upset.
It would be. It would be. I think it's one that people would be happy to see as well, right? Obviously, Tox definitely still more of a fan favorite out there. Everyone loves a bit of Toxic. Let's see then. Oh, absolutely, man. Here we go then. Awoken, the decided map. Tox taking on k1llsen. The last time we'll see these two face off tonight. k1llsen, will he be dropping any more emojis in the chat?
Well, if he's losing, I hope so. Well, you never know. We'll see what happens later as Tox now. A lovely stack with atomic control. The first rail comes through. The second one does for k1llsen. That was great stuff from him to keep a little bit of pressure going. And what a great rocket there. And another rail. Absolute filth once more from k1llsen.
Big damage done. Nice opening frag. And he's got basically a perfect stack as well going out of this. And that's the dream scenario. If you can starve out the big girl in Sorlag and stop her from being able to get any items, then you're living the dream. And that's just what k1llsen's done. 2 kills. He's really thrown a massive spanner at the timing of this Mega, as he's only just picked it up. It also means Heavy's now in circulation, so we can get both major items when he wants them. Again, still waiting longer and longer before he takes them. Spamming shots out through the murder hole. This has been a great opening bout here for k1llsen.
He's pretty much laughing at this point. He's got top mid control, a huge stack. It knows the whereabouts of where Tox is. But it's Tox on the back foot we need to worry about here. He's trying to find his footing here in this last map of the series. It's currently 1-all. Both his players trying to at least take this final map. The rails do come out. k1llsen gets one. Let's try the second, but Teddy comes in. I don't think he actually expected that. And k1llsen still manages to take that frag. 3-0 now, but Tox plays extremely fast. We know he can come back from this, but after that first rail, we're not really too sure here. As he gets the health orb to heal himself from the Toxic from the spit. And now k1llsen's got the atomic control once again. Another lovely predicted rocket there. Another rail just to follow suit. He's going to try and go for the second. He doesn't. But will he finish him off here? Surely he will with the LG. He doesn't, as Tox is the one who cleans up. 14 HP left remaining and takes down the total for his troubles. Trying to go for that second one. Again, and almost another great combo frag there from him. As he's already predicted where he's going to go. Decides to leave it for the time being. As Tox now goes back for the LG, gets the light armor. Trying to regain himself here, Jack.
Yeah, try and compose himself. And build back into the game. It's only a 2-frag lead for k1llsen. Certainly doable for the Swedish superstar here to be able to bring it back if he can try and take a chunk out of k1llsen. And the rockets will do the work for him, blowing him sky high. He takes him down, responds with more as well, keeping it in kind as the rocket barrage keeps on going, replenishes his ammunition for his rail. We're starting to see the type of movement we like coming out from Tox as well. It's fast, it's flashy, it's more aggressive, and it's working wonders for him. Unfortunately, it has to be used to escape rather than initiate, and he can't do that. k1llsen was too quick, chased him down, leapt through the window, got the kill, and the follow-up rockets are even more damaging as well. Tox is taking a real brunt of the damage, just absorbing each and every blow. k1llsen gets the Mega after that kill and keeps on looking to just pack more punches in.
k1llsen now is just continuing this path of destruction. And Tox is trying to do everything he can just to contest some of these items, but it's just not. Last time with the Mega, just barely lost out on 50 HP. Tried to take the Heavy then, but no luck. But even now, this could be a great opportunity for him. They're on a similar stack, but he doesn't want to go up that lift and give him the advantage. Look at this, k1llsen just waiting for his prey. I was hoping he'd got up that lift, but it looks like Tox managed to duke him there. These predicted rockets from k1llsen have just been ridiculous. He's so desperate to push in, looks like he will do, cleans him up with the LG, gets the Heavy for his troubles. This is not looking good for Tox here, Jack, just making matters worse and worse. Those first 2 rounds that you saw through the spawn might give Tox some leadway here, but he hasn't got enough weapons in his arsenal. He's only got that LG. The LG battle comes out. Tox needs to try and win this fight. Surely he won't. He's giving it up for the time being. k1llsen's backing off to see what he can do here, but it's all good there so far for k1llsen with a nice little lead to fall back on.
k1llsen getting low into this one, actually has to call it quits for once and backs off, playing for the Kurt angle through the bounce pad. If he got the follow-up rail off, it would have been downright disgusting. Unfortunately for him, Tox was able to get away. Pushes back over by the Mega, playing from behind the pole and peeking out at the perfect opportunity as he shoots off the warning shots, but the 90s are coming out from k1llsen as he looks to try and kill him. Tox has to avoid him and stay tucked in, bunkered in, out of the way. And peering out, going for the push towards Evie might be his downfall, as it seems like k1llsen's going to get it. The rockets are still hitting, and the HMG really does slap when you're up close and personal. Harry, 8-2, k1llsen's on one.
I don't know what he had before this game, but it's just ridiculous. He's completely changed. I said before, Blood Run, it's very easy just to get away from your opponent. There's so many angles and ways and strategies. And that's why some people actually favour Blood Run, because it's more to their preference. Awoken, it's not like that at all. The spawn cycle and the way you got to try and go from different angles, it's so difficult to get away. But k1llsen's just having a bit of a laugh here at the moment, Jack. He's just doing everything he can to take down Tox. Not giving Tox much room to breathe here. Man's get the 50 HP from the totem back to 100. He's going to be looking for the light armor soon. But even then, the heavy is coming up in the next 8 seconds and decides for now it's best. Go for the 2 lights. Let him get the heavy. Let him think he's got the control. And he's only got 3 minutes and 15 left to play with. So Tox needs to do a huge amount of work. These rockets again. Such great play, and I feel like Tox has become a little bit predictable now, as k1llsen knows exactly what he's up to every time he's weak and what rotations he makes. But at least Tox now gets a frag to his name and try and get something going here.
Tox needs to play with the momentum and utilize Sorlag to her full potential, and that's just what he's doing, flicking out with the shots as he tries to land them and really begin to punish. It gets a bit awkward as he launches himself up close and personal. He's pulling off the rocket jumps, but he's not really being able to land a punch against k1llsen. It's all getting a bit worrying as well. He's heading into totems multiple times. He can't actually catch him off. k1llsen's just proving to be a bit too fast. That's another totem he's taken to the lips. Oh, this is certainly going to be a worrying state of affairs going forward.
It definitely is. And even though he didn't take down the totem, at least it's out of k1llsen's hands to not gain any more HP and that 3rd totem up. Well, like what Tox did earlier, he purposely didn't get the heavy and raced straight towards him to throw him off guard. But look at this. Tox's rail has been phenomenal. And Tox really showing us how it's done here, but I'm hoping for him and for his sake it's not too little too late. He's got 4 frags to try and catch up on. He has the stack. He's got the speed and agility to do it. He's going to try and finish him off here. If he doesn't, as k1llsen counteracts with the rockets of his own. And that's a real shame there. That one rail could have made such a huge difference for Tox, but Tox is going straight in, takes him down, so it might not be too little too late here.
Yeah, here we go. This is a whole lot better. He's actually starting to get into his stride. Well, he was. And then k1llsen appears. Yep, classic Railson. It'll give you an opportunity to feel like maybe you're doing something worthwhile, and then he just stamps on your dreams. Essentially, what's happened here is Tox has just built a really nice sandcastle, and k1llsen is the ocean, and has just taken that sandcastle. It's gone now, Harry.
That's probably the perfect analogy to describe this game so far. Giving him a little bit of false hope, and then saying, nope, I was only joking, no, it's fine. You're not really going to have a chance to try and come back and get a victory. But it was a real shame. Tox, I really felt like the comeback was coming then. And we've seen it happen before when Awoken did that to k1llsen, but it just wasn't to be. As k1llsen goes off the map, 4 frag different, but there's only 30 seconds. I don't think there's going to be any time at all for Tox to make that comeback here, but nevertheless, whatever happens after this map, it's been a great series nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame, right? Because it did seem like all of a sudden the pieces were starting to fall into place, and Tox was really good at barrel out of control and started to win the game back and contend. In the end, though, I mean, you can't fault k1llsen, playing flawlessly. Really good display of Railson. Also, just one of the things that you pointed out that he does very well, Harry, and I think he's actually one of the best at in his current form, is predictive plays. Like his rockets, his tri-bolt, anything that's a projectile that he has to lead his shots with, he can do so well, purely just based off audio cues alone, which I think is the more interesting part. Is he's so good at playing off sound cues, which is such an underrated aspect of the game.
They were perfect every single time. Like, wouldn't just fire them and waste them in any way, shape, or form. He makes use of them in any kind of way. If his game sense on point and he feels like someone is going to be in a certain area at a certain time, he will do it. But he predicts a lot better than most of the other players. And, for Awoken, it's like I said earlier, but for Tox, that is more his map. You saw with k1llsen, he was the one actually trying to abuse Blood Run's aspect with the defensive play in the nail room. And he didn't actually change it once. I felt like in the second map, you think to yourself, well, okay, surely k1llsen's going to change it. He's going to be going through the tellies instead to try and be a bit of a nuisance, but he didn't at all. But in this map on Awoken, k1llsen has more than enough opportunities to try and close out any frags. And it's like when he smells them and gets a whiff of them, he's going straight in without any hesitation whatsoever. And Tox, he found his form during that last half of the game. His rails were incredible. He was doing everything he could to claw his way back. We've seen him do it before. It wouldn't surprise me, even if he did it again. But even then, Tox, it's a shame. He was a little bit predictable during that first half of the game, which caused that huge deficit in frags. And k1llsen just had his number in the end. But nevertheless, that was a great series to end on.
It was truly quite enjoyable. I mean, like overall, we had some huge highlight moments. There was a lot of excitement the entire way through, right? And as a way to close it down and Awoken, pretty damn good matchup. Like it is a shame that we could have had the huge resurgence at the end and the fanfare for Tox being able to pull off something absolutely majestic, but it wasn't meant to be, Harry. It was just a tease, just a tipple.
Oh, I hate it when people tease me and give me false hope. It's that's what Tox said pretty much during that course of the last map. But nevertheless, even though it wasn't as close as we'd like it to be in map number 3, it was definitely a fantastic series to end out on. And that Blood Run game was remarkable. We didn't really expect anything like that. It went from one style where both players were just causing things to be chaotic to all suddenly no one's going to frag for the next 4 or 5 minutes. It's great to witness, really. A lot of the mind games showing up throughout the course of all 3 maps.
Yeah, like across the board, it was a good series. And I think throughout the day, we had some amazing games. So let's have a look back and reminisce on some of the games we got to witness today, as we'll walk you viewers at home through the schedule. If you are just joining us, unfortunately, you are a little bit late and the show is done and dusted for the day. But if you've missed it, this is what went down. We started off with Awoken versus CNZ, and that was a 2-1 split in favor of the Polish Punisher, Harry.
Absolutely. In match number 2, Nosfer managed to win that 3-0, considering we've seen a style from Nosfer we've not seen before, and he's become less predictable, you could say, on his approach to attacking his opponent, and it showed throughout the entire course of the game. Could have gone either way. Zeneku versus Zygib. Zeneku was so close, 13-12 in map number 3 to take this 3rd series win in a row in the last 3 weeks. Wasn't to be, but, end of the day, that was a great series. And k1llsen just shown how great he is. From the last time he played Raising Corrupted Keep, and, well, you could say he realised what mistakes he made and what to improve on, to beating Sparty 18-6. That was ridiculous. And, again, another close series. Both 2 out of 3 maps did go 1 frag apiece between both these players in terms of deficits.
Yeah, very, very tight games there out of the first 4 that we had. It was actually pretty damn cool. First 4 games of the day lived up to the hype. The Cooler series was awesome as well, just to see how well he's been performing, again, coming back in hot. And we do have, of course, the last 3 games that we've just rounded out. So let's have a look at these. Dahang versus Chain. That was a bit of a rough one for Chain. And it's a shame, really, because, I mean, it's so cool to see, obviously, the improvements he's had. But plateaued a little bit there versus Dahang. Couldn't beat him this time, Harry.
These 3 games were more the meat and potatoes of the schedule, wasn't it, throughout the course of the day? Dahang, even though he won 3-0, Chain did show a lot of improvement. They both have very similar styles. It was definitely a clash of styles, but Chain likes to be a little bit extra aggressive sometimes. A few decisions which he maybe hesitated on, which was a bit of a shame, but it's nice to see Chain is getting a little bit closer to actually get a victory on Dahang, which is a bit of a shame. But Base versus Razy, that first game on Earth, what I can't believe what happened. 15-2 on Blood Run against Base. That was remarkable. And the other two games were close as well. One frag between them on both on the other two maps. And Tox and k1llsen to round off the night. We thought Tox was going to at least try and get some kind of comeback going, but it wasn't to be. Gave us false hope. Didn't have a good first game, but at least he retaliated in a great way. But it was a bit of a shame. But most of the maps in most of the series tonight have been remarkable. It was definitely a pleasure to watch and to cast.
It was some awesome stuff. And I suppose then we should crack open the standings and start to rummage our brains a little bit, Harry, about how things have been shaping up over the course of the season, right? Because there's been some miraculous results. And I think today just adds on to that. This season's been a lot more unpredictable.
You're right, but as you can see, the top 5 hasn't changed at all. Dahang beating Chain earlier meant that he does keep his spot there.
This is from last week, Harry. That's why we're teasing you with the old one first, then we go into the new one. I've thrown you under the bus there.
That's all right. You just got to stop teasing me.
I'm sorry.
Just one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, you can see from the scorelines there, but even with Chain, even if he did win, it would make a slight improvement, but I don't think the scoreline would change, the point system would change too much, just due to the fact that k1llsen did actually win his match earlier on.
Yeah, it's cool to see, right? Because obviously we can look at this first. We can kind of speculate how we think things have developed. Then if we move into the updated standings now, we can have a look at how it actually has shaped up. So talking of changes, it's not too crazy. I mean, obviously point-wise, Dahang's going to be happy with the improvement he's found, right? Firmly in that third spot. It's shaping up quite nicely across the board. I mean, looking at this leaderboard to me now, this is actually pretty accurate to how I think I would place a lot of our competitors. Obviously, that sort of top 5, top 7, I feel like is going to be in a constant flux of them trying to find their footing with how well Cypher's been playing, Razy with his ups and downs, right? Wenger trying to really emerge as also another top-tier competitor with the results he's having. But I think that top 10 is pretty sick.
Yeah, I agree. I think the top 5 is all the names in the Quake scene you would picture. So if you pictured any of their names, you'd assume they would be somewhere in the top 5. Like Dahang now has risen up to 3rd. k1llsen winning the 2 stages. He deserves to be in that 2nd place spot. Razy, who's been phenomenal and now is actually kind of regained his confidence going forward in stage 4. Cypher with his old style now back into the new generation, and it seems to be working massively ever since Cypher changes his cursor and he's changed his movement and how he reacts to certain things. It's been fantastic. And I'd say the only thing I would say was the fact that you would assume that Tox and Avek would probably be somewhere in that top 10 kind of mark, but the Americas are still showing a huge impact, just barely managing to hold those top 10 spots.
And here's an interesting one that we've just received from producer Reese. If you look over there in rank 19, Harry, 18 and 17, you'll notice that 3 players are all tied on 206 points, Xeniku, Genic and CNZ. So there is going to be a huge amount of fluctuation there as things develop. That's a cool little tie we've got going on.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one, but also very rare to say the least to have all 3 of them on the same points, but it just means it's all to play for. We've still got at least another 7 more weeks now. So we'll have to see what happens as the stage 4 goes forward.
Yes, we will. And of course, it's going to be moving on. It'll keep on coming at you. It's fast-paced action each week, as we've been expecting, Harry. Unfortunately for me and you this week, that's all we've had time for. And it is time to say goodbye. Have you got any final thoughts on the day, Harry?
No, just always a pleasure. Never a chore. It's great to see all the top contenders to try and make something of themselves. It's nice to see the consistency and the progression still from a lot of these players, especially from the Americas players. And it will be interesting to see how things will pan out over the course of the second half of the stage later on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone that has tuned in today. We do hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. We will see you next time when we return. But for today, that is it. We're done and dusted. Thank you to the amazing Faceit production. Thank you to you, Lethal, for being a naughty, naughty man. And to our amazing competitors. We'll see you next week.